host of the Gridiron.
This one, I've seen this one. Now, I seen this one like probably about a month or so ago, before free agency started. And the thing is, now he's been running and he's ahead of pace and all that stuff and everything, but he did wind up getting injured last season. Now, as I said, the Giants need now, especially they can afford him. If they're not trying to go after Wilson and Rodgers too. I mean, right? They can afford him, and they need another weapon. I love me some Slayton. The guy can be on my team all day long. I love him. Love Wandale. Just that now, but we need another threat out there, right? Then if you get Winston out there, right, throwing the ball, and you got a couple threats out there, man. Will be exciting. It could be very, very exciting this year. We should certainly average more than 15 points per game, without question. So this man, when you have to draft need, oh yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is that because sometimes you look at the Eagles, right? They don't have really many needs, right? So they can just take the best player, right, and just grab them and just throw them on the team. Or they can draft somebody, right? Like they can draft like a defensive tackle or something like that. Maybe he's the best player available, and it's like, it's like, well, that guy may not play a lot, or he may not start, or something like that. But then you look at somebody as they play the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles have lost a couple guys to retirement over the past year or two, right, on the defensive front. So basically, sometimes they're drafting guys like defensive linemen and all that, who are going to take the place of guys who are going to retire in a year or two. So I mean, but they can afford to do that. I mean, the Giants are taking guys. Well, we need a wide receiver. We need a deep. The Eagles don't need really much of anything. So they can go out and just take the best player. So but Stefon Diggs reportedly running at full speed ahead of schedule 5 months after his ACL tear. Now, the thing is, the problem with the ACL is that you can get, the way modern medicine is and the way these guys focus on, like with Daniel Jones, right? I mean, he was like ahead of the schedule and blah, 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 all this stuff. It's amazing. You could tear your ACL, you got to get carted off the field, and like 6 months, 7 months later, you're running almost like full speed. But the thing is with the ACL, a lot of times you can come back the next season, but you're not up to 100% full speed. Usually, just stuff I hear, right? The second season that you come back, you're up to speed. If not maybe even better than you were before, right? But that first year back, you might be running full speed, but you may not be as good as you possibly could be. So there's so that's something you have to consider here. Where are we at here? Oh, there we go. So free agent wide receiver Stefon Diggs visited the Patriots last week. And although he left without a contract, he's also reportedly left a favorable impression about how he's coming along with his recovery from a torn ACL. Diggs is running full speed, getting more comfortable cutting and changing directions, and ahead of schedule and rehabbing from surgery. It was just under 5 months ago that Diggs tore his ACL while playing for the Texans in a Week 8 game against the Colts. Up to that point in the 2024 season, Colts had 47 catches, 496 yards, and 3 touchdowns through half the season. So he was on pace for 100 receptions. The question is whether NFL teams believe that Diggs, who will turn 32 years old during the 2025 season, can come all the way back from his torn ACL and play at a high level he achieved previously in his NFL career, when he was a 1,000-yard receiver for 6 straight seasons, 2 with the Vikings and 4 with the Bills. That Diggs remains unsigned suggests that there are still questions about his ability to play the way he played in his prime. Then I got this one. Stefon Diggs linked to the Giants as Malik Nabers, a wide receiver partner. Right? Well, I mean, because let's not forget, right? There was, right? Diggs was in Buffalo, right? So was Shane and Dable, right? So there's familiarity there, right? Or Diggs, yeah. Parcells drafted Banks because he knew Banks was the best player. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we had. Well, one of the things we had when we drafted Banks was that we had Van Pelt. We had Brad Van Pelt, number 10, and they got rid of him because he was an outside. He had Brian Kelly, but you had Brad Van Pelt was an outside linebacker. You had Lawrence Taylor as an outside linebacker. So they got rid of Brad Van Pelt. They brought Carson. They brought Banks in. They drafted him, and Brad Van Pelt. They wound up letting him go. So I mean, Brad Van Pelt. I think we drafted him in '73. Because he played in Yankee Stadium, he played in the Yale Bowl, he played in Shea Stadium, he played in Giant Stadium, I think. So I think we drafted him in '73. So Brad Van Pelt was an outside line. He's very, very good, right? But yeah, we got Banks in here, and then we let Brad Van Pelt wind up going. Carson's and Banks. Oh yeah, I mean we had Banks, we had Carson. Right, and Lawrence Taylor. I mean, whew, man, and Bell could have played safety. Oh yeah, he was a phenomenal athlete in Michigan State. He was really, really good. Taylor had a lot of nice things to say about him and all. He was a really, really good player. Really, really good. Unbelievable, very good athlete. Very, very good athlete. Yeah. Because I would love because he wore number 10. You know, what I mean, it's your linebacker number 10, and it was like, just kind of weird seeing that. But he was very, very good. I mean, because we had the crunch bunch. We had Brian Kelly in the middle with Harry Carson. We had Brad Van Pelt on the one side, and had Lawrence Taylor on the other side. So for like 4 years, when 81, 82, and 83, 3 years we had the crunch bunch. It was 84. I think Kelly was gone. I think Van Pelt was gone. He went to play with the Raiders, I think it was, for his final couple seasons. I think it was. But yeah, from 81, 82, and 83, we had the crunch bunch there. Good set of linebackers. But I said, when we got Van Pelt left, we had Banks in there. Banks was great. Absolutely loved him. But Diggs, I mean, 2018, he had 102 catches. Then in 2019, he went down to 63 catches. Now, I'm not sure if that was when he started complaining or whatever. He was wanting to get out of Minnesota. I don't know. But then he went to Buffalo in 2020. 2020, 2021, he was there with Shane and Dable. Right? He had 127 catches his first season there, 1,535 yards, But his 4 years in Buffalo, he had 127 catches, 103 catches, 108 catches, 107 catches. I mean, just great. The thing is, what that article was talking about is quite possibly since, he's still unsigned, might be some, people might have some reservations as far as trying to, maybe signing him right off the bat. Maybe they don't think he can come back, or as of right now, he might not be back at full speed. The Giants still don't know what they'll do at quarterback. They still don't know what they do with the number 3 overall pick. But some think that they know that Big Blue should do next in free agency, which is why the name Stefon Diggs continues to be linked to New York. As near as we can tell, there's more about the rumor mill than it is about anything leaking from the Giants themselves, as a handful of websites, including Pro Football Focus, have created scenarios in which Diggs, coming off a season-ending knee injury, resulted in ACL reconstruction surgery, ends up with the Giants. When healthy, physically and mentally, Diggs has been one of the most premier receivers in the league. Is he an answer to a Coach Brian Dable-led offense that right now has newly signed quarterback Jameson Winston in charge, with Malik Nabers ready to morph into a superstar, and with that number 3 pick maybe being used on anything from another quarterback to an all-purpose weapon like Travis Henry. Prior to his injury last season, a member of the Texans, Diggs posted 6 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, including an NFL-leading 1,535 yards in 2020. Diggs, who served as quarterback Josh Allen's main weapon in Buffalo for 4 seasons, has also logged double-digit touchdowns in 2 consecutive seasons. Diggs, if healthy, would be a stellar pairing alongside Nabers, and if Colorado product Hunter, who is slated to play both receiver and cornerback in the NFL, lands there, the offensive firepower might be enormous. I mean, could you imagine? We brought Diggs in? Could you imagine that? I mean, wow. Could you imagine? How about going 5 wide, right? You got Diggs, you got Nabers, you got Hunter, you got Wan'Dale Robinson, you got Slayton. Woo! Wow, that would be nice. Diggs is 31, has come with baggage, though, but he also has 10 years of NFL experience, has over 10,000 receiving yards and 70 touchdowns. Maybe this is an idea that happens later after the dust settles. As we write this, Diggs has taken only 1 visit in free agency. That was to New England. But it is a tantalizing idea for a Giants team that's trying to climb out of the NFC East basement now. I mean, there is familiarity there. I got his card. Oh, yeah. D.D. Lewis and Lee. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. D.D. Lewis and Leroy Jordan. Good old linebackers. Yep. Cook at 32. Didn't Sims replace who? Joe Pisarcik. P-A-S-A-R-C-I-K. Pisarcik. Yeah, there you go. No, C-I-K. It's not. There's no H in there. It's not Pisarcik. Pisarcik. But it's not C-H-A. It's not C-H-I-K. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think there's an H in there. Let's say Joe Pisar. R. P-I-S-A-R-C-I-K. Pisarcik. P-I-S-A-R-C-I-K. Yeah. Yeah, Pisarcik was kind of, yeah, no. Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, I think Pisarcik and Sims were on the team for like a year or so, but then also Scott Bruner was there. Scott Bruner was the quarterback for the Giants for a couple of years, too. The one problem, because the problem with Sims was if the Sims was the starter or if Sims was healthy, he might quite have possibly been the starter maybe all the time. But Sims, if you look at him in the beginning of his, well, here you go. We ain't doing nothing. Let's check it out. Excuse me, Bill Sims. I mean, he got injured a lot early on. Let's see how many games his rookie season. I mean, in first few seasons. Let's see, in 79, he started 11 games. 1980, 13 games. So he missed 3 games in 80. 1981, he played in 10, so he missed 6 games. Rookie season, he played in 12 games, so he missed 4. Or it didn't. That was his rookie season. I'm not sure if they held him out or what it was. But 82, he had a knee injury. He missed the whole season. 83, he played in 2 games. He didn't start any. So early on, he missed, especially 82 and 83, he played in 2 games. He missed a ton of time. So we had Scott Bruner there. Scott Bruner was he was from Delaware, I believe it was. I think it was. He was our quarterback. When the Giants went to the playoffs in 1981 for the first time since 1963, Scott Bruner was our quarterback. I think that's because Phil Simms was injured. Scott Bruner, if you ever look on YouTube or whatever, 1981, the divisional round game, we beat the Eagles 27-21. Scott Bruner was our quarterback. The following week, when we lost to the 49ers 38-24 in San Francisco, that wasn't the division. The first game, I think, was might have been a wild card game. The Giants beat the Eagles 27-21. The next week was the divisional round. We lost 38-24 to the 49ers. Bruner was our quarterback. I think I said one thing. I think that's because Phil Simms was injured. Rutledge was good enough to start. Yeah, remember, Purple People Eaters. Oh, no. Yeah, they were, Larson, Eller, Marshall, and Page. And after Larson retired, you had Doug Sutherland in there. That was the Purple People Eaters. They were good. They had one of the years, it was in the 60s. They had three guys. Now, of course, the sacks weren't official. But I believe one of the years, I think it was in the late 60s, I think Jim Marshall, Alan Page, and Carl Eller all had 15 sacks, at least 15 sacks. I mean, that's just crazy. And of course, they didn't rotate guys in for the most part, not the way it is nowadays. You know what I mean? The guys just stayed in there. It was great. For Alabama and Parcells, yep, yeah. I mean, so that worked out good for us. I mean, Perkins he was a good coach, but he wasn't Parcells. So actually, Parcells was our coach in '83. We were 3-12-1. And he almost didn't make it to 84. He's lucky he got. So we went from 3-12-1. I think we were 9-7 in 84. And we went to the playoffs. We beat the Rams. And then, of course, we lost once again to the 49ers 21-10 in the playoffs. But, each year we got a little bit better. And, of course, it culminated in 86 where we were 14-2 and won the Super Bowl. But Perkins, yeah. But just before I go here, I mean, so the one thing is with Diggs, I mean, if you look, let me show this here real fast there. Let me share my screen here with Diggs. Now, if you look, once again, this is just all PFF stuff. That's all I'm going by. I mean, you look at, I mean, he gets nothing but love. Let me tell you what. From PFF. I mean, if you look at his season grades here from PFF, last season when he got in, it was 79, then a 79.1, an 89, an 81, a 90.2. That was the first year. That's when he had the 1,500 yards receiving, but a 78, an 81, an 82, a 79. So, I mean, is his injury, is that going to really hinder him a lot, especially this season, coming back off of a torn ACL? Who knows? I mean, obviously people go out and see him maybe run around and catch passes and all and everything. So they have a better idea than what I would have or anybody else has. But, he's had nothing but good grades. He's had nothing but from PFF. He's had nothing but good stats. Now, once again, coming off a torn ACL, that first season back, he might be a little off. Might be the second season he comes back. He might be really good. But the thing is, the end of November, he'll turn 32. Now, that doesn't mean he's I mean, last year he was on pace for 100 receptions, right? So. The thing is, I keep bringing this back up, but the nice thing about if we just have Winston as our quarterback, and we don't sign Wilson, we don't sign Rodgers, so we're saving ourselves a lot of money. We still have quite a bit of money left over, and if we restructure some guys' contracts, we can even grab another probably $20 or $30 million. So, we could go out and maybe bring in a Diggs if that was the case. The thing is that bringing in Diggs right now, we're not going to the Super Bowl, right? Do you want to go out and spend whatever? I don't know what it would be, 10, 15 million, whatever it was. I don't know, for Diggs, bring him in for a year or two, right? It will certainly give us some excitement, but we're not going to the Super Bowl. And do you want to bring like a 31, 32-year-old wide receiver for a year or two and then just obviously just let them go? Or do you want to maybe bring in somebody young, maybe draft, or is it like a hunter, where you can have a wide receiver and a cornerback? That would be fantastic. So, the Stefon, all these bringing this in this free agent, bringing in that free agent. It's all it's all nice and fun and fancy to talk about. But realistically, to bring Stefon Diggs in here for a year or two, I don't see it happening. So, all right, guys. Patrick, Cowboys, guys. Hey, good talking to you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and almost 35 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. You guys, thank you so much, man. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for keeping me awake. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, God. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or whoever's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.